That's for happy time. That's for relaxation period. Squig face eating contest.
One of my favorite squigs is literally, there's actually a weapon, or no, it's a unit called the squig buggy, where they throw bomb squigs from the buggy as they like drift around the battlefield and they just explode. That's actually a real model you can get. It's great. Well, I don't think it's actually great right now, but it's really fun.
That sounds like it would be the literal funniest model ever.
I mean, they're pretty good. They're not quite as good as the Shock Jump Dragsta or the Boom Daka Snazwagon, but we'll talk about those maybe later.
Jesus.
So, moving on from the physiology of orcs, let's talk about a little bit about the orcs' culture. So there's actually a great quote from the orcs about their culture. Oh, there it is. It's an Eldar philosopher. It says, quote, "The orcs are the pinnacle of creation. For them, the great struggle is won. They have evolved a society which knows no stress or angst. Who are we to judge them? We Eldari who have failed, or the humans on the road to ruin in their turn? And why? Because we sought answers to questions that an orc wouldn't even bother to ask. We see a culture that is strong and despise it as crude." Orc culture, orcs don't get depressed. They don't get like sad, or at least not often. They don't care about where they came from or who made them. They don't have philosophy or the idea of their purpose. It's might makes right. You go out, you always listen to the biggest orc. Listen to the big orc. Big orc, he knows what's up. You listen to that big orc. You fight. So long as you got some crumpin', which is what they call like beating on people. Yeah, they call it like to get crumpin'. As long as you got some crumpin', you know, you live a warlike life, you're constantly fighting and you got something to kill and you got some ways to have a good time that way, orc is happy. They think that they are the greatest race ever. Like they legitimately believe that they are like the best. They're like, we orc, we best race. Every other race dumb, stupid. They're never depressed. Their currency is teeth.
That's right. Their currency is orc teeth. So they just pop
I think
each other in the mouth.
In general.
I was under the understanding it had to be orc teeth. It's just teeth.
I mean,
period.
I mean, Shy, I don't know if you can correct me on this one. I thought it was just teeth in general. So if they kill a bunch of humies, they can get a bunch of teeth.
That makes more sense, actually.
Maybe they use humi teeth as like cents instead of like dollars.
Orc
really
teeth
small.
is like $100 bill.
Okay. She says it's primarily orc teeth. All right, so orc teeth it is.
She said teeth, by the way. She didn't say
yeah. Well, sorry, because they say teeth because they got the weird orc.
Because you got to talk like this.
Oh no, I can't do a Cockney orc accent, and I don't want to try.
At some point this episode, you have to. It's an orc episode.
I refuse. I'm the one doing the teaching here. I don't have to force myself.
Relief. That's fair. Okay.
But they're just never-ending fighting and violence. Always listen to the biggest orc. Always warlike at all times. They don't think too hard. They breed in insane numbers. Obviously, they don't fuck because they're fungus, but
yeah,
you know. The way it works is the biggest orc pushes around the smaller orcs, which in turn push around the Gretchen. At the same time. So a big orc will start bonking on the other orcs, who will in turn bonk on the Gretchen, and because they can. And the Gretchen are constantly bullied. In fact, this hilariousness where, like, I think it's the Killican. The Killican is an orc vehicle armed by Gretchen. And often, once the Gretchen is promoted to being a Killican pilot, they'll go and find the Gretchen that bullied him the most and immediately step on him and kill him.
Makes sense. I mean, if you're bigger and you've got the means to, that seems to be the orc thing to do. Wow, Killicans are crazy. Should I just post a picture of them? Wow, those are
like big old rust buckets with saws and missile launchers and spikes everywhere. They're great.
That is a Killican. Yep.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. I know. It's just registering with me.
Now we do gotta talk about the orc religion real quickly. I want to talk about them real quick. The orcs believe in two gods, Gork and Mork. Have you actually never heard of Gork and Mork yet?
No. As soon as you said it, all I could think of was like Mork and Mindy.
Not quite that. Not quite like that. Not quite. Not Gork and Mork. Gork and Mork are. Okay. So the orcs have two guys, right? Gork and Mork.
Gork and Mork.
Now Gork is brutal but cunning. Now Mork is cunning but brutal. I'm speaking verbatim here. So they believe that Gork and Mork are the most powerful orcs in existence, and they're constantly fighting each other. They are constantly beating on each other all the time because they say Gork is, he's brutal and cunning. He'll just smack an adversary in the head really hard with a big old club, quote unquote, the size of a comet. But Mork, he's cunning but brutal. He's sneaky. He'll wait till the foe turns around and then he'll clobber him. It's Gork and Mork, and they're constantly fighting each other. And the orcs, and I do believe that these gods actually do exist. I don't know if it's
Gork
just
and Mork actually exist. This isn't like
I'm not sure. I think they do. I think they're in the warp, in their own realm, unlike the realm of chaos, and they're Gork and they're Mork, and they're constantly fighting against demons because the demons are being annoying, and they gotta crump them because they're Gork and Mork. I think that they truly are actual gods. I don't.
And they're just hanging out in the warp, just beating up demons because we're orcs, we're Gork, we're Mork. That's what we do.
I think, Gork and Mork exist, and they're there, and like Zinch and shit are probably just chilling there, and then Gork runs up and like bonks him in the head, and then he like probably leaves. I don't know. I don't fucking know what happens.
I mean, that seems like the most apropos gods that the orcs could have. So,
Gork and Mork.
Allegedly, the Emperor himself fought Gork and Mork in the warp at some point.
Allegedly.
I would love to see that. Serious M's, he's very serious, very stoic, very. And then fucking Gork and Mork just bonk him on the head.
Go to horny jail, Emperor. You had 20 sons. Bonk.
Yeah. Like, in my head, I just imagine, those carnival games where the mole's head pops up and bonk? I'm just imagining the Emperor's head popping up and Gork and Mork just have, like, the big mallet and pop.
A lot of orcs like the Emperor, though. They,
really?
They think he's the biggest and the strongest of all the Humies.
Oh,
so,
well, that's fair. Yeah.
So they actually, I mean, no respect, but they appreciate it. There's actually an ongoing theory that the Emperor is only still alive right now because the orcs believe him to be. And he would have died. Really? He would have died on the Golden Throne a while ago if the orcs didn't believe that he was alive. It's more of a joke. It's probably not actually true, but it's a good joke. I like it.
I mean, if enough orcs believe,
that's where the theory comes from. Yeah,
if
enough
every single orc believes it.
So, great time to get into that. So the orcs all consistent of the old ones, by the brain boys. They all have a little bit of psychic power, and because of that, on its own, each individual orc, nothing really happens. But when the orcs get together and they all believe in something, they tend to have pretty ridiculous results. That's why the power of imagination, because they're not smart enough to actually use this power for anything, but because they're dumb enough to believe it, it always works. The irony is that the orcs would be significantly less powerful if they were smarter.
That makes a crazy amount of sense. Yeah, I guess.
I know, it's so fucking weird. But
that's like the weirdest way to describe it, but it's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. But yeah, I get it.
Because the idea is like they will take a bunch of sheet metal and a muffler and they'll pour gas randomly on the vehicle, and then the fucking vehicle starts driving. and it works. And then there's funny stories where the orcs will be driving a vehicle and then it'll run out of gas. And then one orc will be like, "Did you fill it up with gas?" And the other orc will be like, "Of course I filled it up with gas." And then the vehicle will start working again because the big orc said he filled it up.
So everyone believes, it's got gas, of course, and it just.
Yeah, pretty much. They believe that red is the fastest color, so they'll paint their shit red, and they will go quicker. They will go really fast, in fact.
I know that the stealth guys are purple because have you ever seen a purple orc?
Purple is the sneakiest color. I think yellow is the lucky